So first up, we're gonna have JD Reese. JD, come on out. JD,
There you go, buddy. Clicker.
JD's been on the platform for about a year.
Yeah.
There we go.
What's up, everybody? How is everyone
Got
doing?
a team of what, 6 or 7?
Yeah, 6 agents. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And
We won't bite you. Come on.
Yeah, come on over here, JD.
Come
Come
on.
on. And I
Are
won't
you
bite
awake
you
out
anyway.
there, by the way? I don't know about you guys. I went to bed at like 2 in the morning. So I woke up, pound 2 energy drinks. We're here.
Okay,
We're
good,
doing
good.
it, so
how many transactions did you guys do last year?
So last year we did 70 transactions over a 12-month period.
Yeah.
So we're a relatively new team. Our team will actually be a year old in May.
Yeah.
So from May to May, we've done about 70 transactions.
Yeah, and while I know Ylopo is a big part of that, and
Let me say that, and this is no cap. That's what the Gen Z are saying right now. No cap.
for real, for the rest
For
of
real.
us, that means for
lit,
real.
No cap.
No joking around, guys.
Our business would not be where it's at today without Ylopo.
Yeah.
And not just all of the amazing tech that you guys have, but just the community. There's so much perfect, amazing information being passed around on the Facebook groups, just between all the team members, even just sitting out here, just sharing information between other teams.
Yeah.
It's invaluable.
Yeah, and love the name of your team, Genuine, right?
Yeah,
You're trying
yeah.
to keep things as authentic and genuine
Authentic.
as possible.
I am what you get. That is it.
So I know that the deals aren't falling in your lap, that you guys are actually working, and
Right.
that's what we want you to take some time and just go through the slides. Gabe
Yeah.
and I are here. We're going to ask some questions as you go through.
Let's see.
Go ahead and put the slides up on the big screen so you guys
Yeah,
could.
give me those slides.
We're going to sit at your feet and let you teach us.
Check it out. So real quick, when these slides were made, they had a picture with me with my hair. I actually do have hair, but I've kind of created this little brand for myself in my town where I'm wearing a hat at all times, and everybody's like, "Oh, there's JD. You're the one with the hat." Yes.
Okay.
I got hats. So
Like it.
Kind of like Robbie T at Hatch. So. All right. So today they asked me to talk about kind of our really aggressive and in-depth follow-up process that my team uses. We have a team of six total, 5 agents, and then a support staff for us. So we're a smaller team based in St. George, Utah. And when the market shifted, I don't know about everybody here, but we kind of got together and decided, okay, how can we be better? We have all this amazing tech to back us, and where are we lacking? Because at the end of the day, you can have all this tech, you can do all these amazing things, show your clients everything, but if you're not actually putting in the work, you'll fall short. And we kind of realized that. We were identifying gaps in our business because we are so small. We're analyzing those gaps, and then we're immediately going to work to attack them. So this kind of is going to outline some of that information for us. Maybe.
Is it not going through?
There we go.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So let's talk about like right when the lead comes through, like the initial lead process for us. We really, really look at this. Ylopo has some of the best leads that we're going to be able to get in, especially in our area. They come in with more information. This right here, you guys, if you have Follow Up Boss, great. If you don't, you should probably be on Follow Up Boss. But anyways, this is an example of some of the data that comes through on the leads that we get through Ylopo. The address they looked at, when they're going to buy. This person planned to buy within 3 months. If we see that tag, our agents in the office are like, that's my lead, and I'm going to do everything I can do to claim it. We're a first come, first serve team. So if you claim that lead, your expectation is to immediately, the time you claim it, unless it's like way after hours, we do 5 taps on that lead as soon as it comes in.
So I just want to make sure we're clear because we talked about pawns yesterday. When you're saying first to claim, it's going to a pawn,
It is,
not to
yes.
an agent.
Pawns are, if you're not on pawns after talking about yesterday, you should 100% be on pawns at this point. Our leads, they'll come through, they go right into what we call a new lead pawn. And on our Ylopo leads, we're actually in the process of building like a quality lead pawn for like some of the higher end leads, like Direct Connect, the ones that cost us a bit more money, because the agents that'll be in those pawns are gonna be our high producing performing agents who do our protocols, every single time. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dumping those high-end leads into that pond. That's for future. But for right now, every lead goes into a brand new pond, and every agent right now is notified, and it's not a round robin style for us. It's claim it and work it. And immediately what we look for is a call. We let it ring 2 or 3 times. If they don't answer, we call them again. Ideally, we'd love to have them answer on that second call. If not, we actually leave a voicemail on that second call step. We have text templates that we recreate and readjust almost every other week, definitely every single month for text and email template.
Now, why do you update the text templates just for the group? Why is that important?
So for us, we want to make sure that our numbers are never getting flagged as spam and follow-up boss.
There it is.
We're really, really careful about that. The last thing we want to do is have one of our high-producing agents' number get flagged, and then we have this theory, and everybody in this room probably heard it. If it's not in follow-up boss, it didn't exist for us.
Yeah.
So we really try to protect our agents' numbers, and for us, it's really important to change those templates frequently. But also, we have our agents, because we are so small, we've had agents come to us and be like, hey, this text template sounds like nothing I would say as a person. I'm like, great. How would you phrase it? And let's create you your own template. And that's some of the benefits of being kind of small and nimble and mighty right now. Yeah. An hour later, this is the trick. If you guys don't have this into your automations or anything, it's super simple. As soon as you hit a follow-up, you can create a task in Follow-Up Boss for an hour later reminder. And we send a text that literally just says, let me know. And I'll send it in all lowercase. I'll put a typo in it sometimes. I want them to understand I'm a real person. And so this let me know text, we have so much response just to the let me know text where they're like, oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I forgot to text you back. I'm at work. As soon as they say that, it's immediately like, great. What time works for you? I can call you at 5 today after your work, right? So for us,
that's a nugget. That's a write down nugget.
Yeah, definitely use that let me know text. It's magic for our team. I think it'll help everybody in this room for sure. So after this initial lead process, this is kind of an example here of one of our agents working a lead. So here's a template we built for Tyler on our team. It says, hey Sandra, I called you, but it didn't go through. I left you a voicemail. Are you looking for a home in the St. George area? I don't want to spam you, so I figured a text would be good. Tyler at the Genuine Group. Throw a couple little emojis in there. We helped Tyler come up with that. He wanted to sound more like what he would say. I said, sure, let's do it. Prior to that, he called, and then the second one, he left a voicemail. And we record all of our voicemails and review them. Part of the voicemail process, too, is actually a really good snippet. I took this from Barry, and there's a lot of good YouTube videos on the Ylopo channel you guys should see. But Barry and Dell, if he's here, I don't know if he's out there.
Oh, yeah,
there he is. There's my guy with the hair back there.
He'll be speaking.
Talk to him.
there.
He's a genius. Voicemail, a simple voicemail for us is, hey, this is JD over here at the Genuine Real Estate Group. I have 1 or 2 things I need to talk to you about your home search when you get a minute. If you could call me back, here's my number. We leave that little snippet. We get callbacks all the time off that, right? So after this initial lead process, for us, we go 10 days of gain. Some people in here call it 10 days of pain. We call it 10 days of gain. And a lot of people are just a call and a text on those 10 days. We do something a little bit different. We do a call, text, and then we haven't found a better word for it, but we do what's called ammunition emails. And what I mean by that is we actively are giving our agents tools to be able to build value via email systems. So whether it's a market update, or whether it's a cool video we made, or whether it's an about me, a resume. We build resumes for our agents. So we are constantly sending these clients additional information on what they signed up for.
So they're not asking for showing appointments or value-based to get the conversation.
Yeah, we're building value because at the end of the day, when we went to go and change kind of our mindset about business and when the market shifted, we decided to go, okay, how can we better build value to retain these people? You know, how can we help them understand that it's a good time to buy right now or a good time to sell? Right. And so we only can do that if we figure out where they're at in their home buying journey and then attack it with good information. You're never really going to convince somebody to buy a house. Like, you're not going to be in the house with them and say, oh yeah, you should buy this house. It's a great home. Like, we have to have understanding of why it's a great home, when is a good time for them to buy, and like, what are their rates doing? What's the mortgage look like? We have to answer all those questions and be a complete professional with information all the way around.
Honestly, I feel like we could give you probably an hour, and the group would probably, you guys are getting a lot from this, right? Yeah, it's very, very helpful.
Thank you.
So we've got about like 3 or 4 minutes left.
Okay.
I know you have a lot of content
Yeah.
left.
So I'll skip past this, but this is a list of our smart lists. It's very basic. If you guys want my smart list, we've tweaked it a bit. We honestly took Barry's idea. There's also a lady in the Ylopo Fall Boss community named Alina. She's super great. She's helped us kind of figure out and tweak our smart list, but we definitely have our smart list dialed in. If you are not using smart list, you're making a mistake. You need to be on smart list. Bottom line, like your company
You've got
is
them numbered
failed.
as well.
Yeah. Number them. This right here is an example of our workflow. We put this on our desk for all of our agents, laminated. Right here is a list of where they start every single day, and we build this out. Canva Pro, baby. You can build this out in Canva right now. Super easy. You can get on Canva, pick a template, and we just put this on their desk and we say, here, if you ever feel lost, if you ever feel like you don't know what you should be doing when you're coming to the office, this information is available to you.
It looks like
And if you guys can't get photos of that, if it's coming through blurry, again, we'll have that QR code. Just let them know in that you want a copy of this, a higher res one.
And these do match our smart list. So we pair this up with a smart list. They work 1 through 12 or 1 through 14. We have a lot of lists, but a lot of the end lists for us are tanks, like ponds, shark tanks.
that looks like a standard operating procedure.
I love it.
This right here is a definition of our lead stages. We use a lot of the same stages we talked about yesterday. One thing that we do a little bit different, I think, is we use what we call an active client stage. Some people use active seller, active buyer. We just call it active client. And these active client stages for us actually are expected almost every single day, some type of communication. We don't delete anybody off of the smart list. Like, if you call them, they don't go away. It's a constant reminder of who we're actively working. We almost treat this kind of like your whiteboard that you would have in your office, where you're writing down your potential deals or you're under contracts. This active client for us is really important. We look at it weekly on our weekly meetings. My director, Nathan Mayo, out there, we meet every Friday morning. And we go over that active client database. We go over our overall database. And again, that's some of the benefits of being a little bit of a smaller team, is it allows us to kind of dial in a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll have time on lunch to get in deeper. About 1 more minute, so we got to stay on track here. So I know you got a couple more nuggets. I want to highlight those, and then if we don't get through all of these, make sure and grab JD on lunch as well.
I'm going to skip the tags, but we can talk about this later.
Take it. Did you get a picture? Get it.
But go back. We
Go
got
back.
some people that want to take a picture.
All right. These tags all trigger automations. Sometimes I get lost in the sauce. A lot of you will. The tech that is available to you is amazing. So I build a lot of automations around these tags, and they all do something. One that we really, really like is the sphere tag, courtesy of Barry Jenkins. If you tag it sphere, we move it, stage sphere, it'll trigger an automation for some spheres follow-up. Our team follows up with sphere every 45 days, and we actually label the sphere of which ones you should be following up. Sphere is arguably your best ROI. It costs nothing to have friends, right? Unless you're trying to like win love with cash or something. Or if you're my friend out there, you cost me $400 on a blackjack table. Just kidding. Let's see. Over here, this is just some general reminders. We actually have this on the desk as well. We always disposition our leads when they come in. This is really important, and this will help your agents too. We found that if you can close your email and text at least by the end of every week, by the time you go in back Monday, you'll have a fresh source of emails and texts, and you won't get overwhelmed with the whole giant list of emails and texts. So we encourage our agents to close out all their emails and texts, unless there's something that they need to consistently be reminded about, as well as their tasks. We are a task-based team, and so for us, we want to clear out those tasks.
Awesome.
I wanted to just point out one thing real fast, and then
Yeah.
I guess we can round it up
Yeah.
here. This is an example of one of the leads that agent Seth, if you guys want to talk to Seth about this, it's a great example.
Where's Seth at?
He's right over there.
Raise your hand. There we
Give us a wave. He's right there. So this lead ended up doing $1.5 million in volume in less than 4 months, okay? They came in, they were a Ylopo lead, they came in through AdWords, PPC, and one thing our team does is we attack those leads really aggressively. We use the background notes here to take all of our notes about the lead so our agents don't have to scroll through the notes section. It's immediately there for them. So we put LP Mama, we do any scripts, anything about them. We throw that in the background information so it's always up in front of our face. But the one thing I wanted to note is over the course of 5 months with this lead, and this is a good example of building a, Howard mentioned here, like having leads for life, like clients for life, right? This lead texted 932 times with Seth over the course of 5 months. That's 2 properties, a buy and a sell, right? 91 phone calls, 29 emails, 15 different marketing emails. This is what it takes for our team, and we have more leads like this. I could show you 10 or 20 where our communication is about.
And you guys are using the CRM to actually,
Yeah.
once it's under contract, you're still using the CRM.
100%. The
Yeah.
CRM is it's our lifeblood. We cannot function without you guys and follow up.
And we got to move to Livia, but how much was this transaction between both of them roughly?
So this is $1.5 million in volume.
So let's give JD, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say too, I know there's more guys, we want to keep these, he's gonna be on the panel later this afternoon, so please be getting these questions together so we can ask questions and go in deeper in some of these
Yeah,
spots.
we'll be here for an hour at the end of the day. We're going to pick his brains some more about how they're making money off of Ylopo leads. Let's give JD a round of
Thanks,
applause.
guys.
Thank you. You just give that to me. Perfect, thanks, sir. All right, yes. Right?
The queen has
All
arrived.
right, you got one there. All right, so we leave them wanting more, right?
That was
Get those
incredible.
questions down there. All right.
That was
Whoa. You can have it.
All right, so full transparency. You all heard my story in the beginning, what I went through, and wanting to not stick with it. So I asked my team to run how many deals we actually closed through Ylopo, just Ylopo generated. And we were at 68 last year and 49 million in transactions. Yeah, so it really, and I'm a small team. So just to let you guys know, we are Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We're a little team. We have 10 agents, 8 of which are working, 2 of which, for personal reasons, are kind of sitting on the back and doing referrals. So we're small but mighty, and we've based our entire business model on Ylopo. And so when we were talking about what I wanted to share, it was important that I tried to leave a little tip, trick, or hack, something that works for us and has saved us time and energy. There we go. So the biggest one for me, that I think if you're not using, use. Do not turn it off. Do not ignore your personal assistant. Raya is incredible. She's getting better, which I'm astounded by. We actually text our agents, and one of our agents said, I noticed in the past 2 days the conversations are out of this world. So we looked at our health report from 2023, March of 2023, so last month. She sent 778 texts. She engaged, so 102 people were talking to her, having conversations. 37 responded in a continuous way, and 9 engaged with an agent. So we figured assume 5 minutes per text, because you got to open your phone, you got to write it up. That's 64.8 hours that she saved me by doing that. Now, if you're small, we're in a second home market, that our time is very valuable. We have to be in front of the right people when. Saving me 65 hours as a mom and a wife means the world to me. So if you're not using Raya, use her. If you are using Raya and concerned with some of her interchange with clients, don't be. We always joke about how I love when she pisses someone off, because I get to get on the phone and apologize. I get to tell her, the person on the other line, I am so sorry that I think there was a miscommunication. I owe you an apology. But I wanted to get in touch with you and let you know I'm a real person and see how things are going on your end. And it will always turn into a beautiful conversation, maybe short, but you leave them feeling a connection with you. One of the things that JD said that I think is tremendous is you have to be an advisor. And in the real estate market, tech has created this separation between the people that need our help and us as agents who've made a career out of this. We know we're good at it or we wouldn't be investing in our business. So using Raya to leverage conversations to save you 65 hours in 1 month and set you up with 9 people that want to talk to you is tremendous. Now, this was a slow month, too. The month before, we were at 1,500 texts.
I was just going to ask, when you pulled these stats, the 102 engaged, was that based on the tag, like that needs follow-up
That was
and
the tag.
engage?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure if you did it, but if you were to include the not interested, there's such a high percentage, and you guys are so good about asking those questions,
And
again, whether
continuing
it just goes higher.
Yeah, and I wanted to show, too, this is a conversation that was happening, and Raya had this long conversation going with this gentleman. This is a gentleman that when the agent first called was not interested. And for whatever reason, she texted at the right time because she knows when the right time to contact people is. And he started responding. So then I jumped in for my agent and made sure that they knew that she'd be reaching out. And sure, after 12 noon. This is someone that when Jesse called, did not want to talk to her. So this is why it's such a game changer. Ylopo is telling you who to contact, when, and why. But more importantly, Raya is setting up that call for you.
And I want to point out here that something you said and how it's impacted this, you really do view your leads as people.
Yeah.
And so when the people say something negative, you're still seeing them as a person, and so you're not afraid of them. Like that's how this works. That's why this is working so well.
It's amazing. They're people that need help. So I was joking around with an agent. I'm totally off script here, but they were saying how they feel like they're bad leads. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, okay. Well, you've been on a dating app before, right? Yeah. Okay. So you see all these people on a dating app. Now, obviously, these people are interested in a relationship of some kind. You want to get married, but you don't know if these people do. So you're going through and you're taking chances. Now, what about if that dating app could actually give you the background, tell you what they're looking at, that they're interested in marriage, that they like the type of jewelry that you want? I mean, honestly, that's what we're getting out of Ylopo. It is a dating app that is putting us in front of a perfect match for us.
I want more Levia off script. Yes, yes.
Yeah, my agent was a little amused. But that's how I feel about it. It is just putting you in front of the people at the right time. And if it's people that when you reached out, it was not the right time, that's okay. I might have caught them in the middle of a fight with their significant other.
Why'd
But
you
Ryan
point at
found
me?
it at the right time.
Better you than me.
And one thing she said too, I want to make sure we're going to go deeper this afternoon with Dale, with Ryan and everything too, is she knows when at the right time. It's behavior texting, right? And you and your teams need to really understand. And I think, Levia, you guys have done better than anybody out there understanding it's the right time. And whether it's an apology or anything like that, it's the right time. They're thinking it, right? As long as they're thinking it, you guys have capitalized on that so well.
Yeah. And then the tool that everyone should be using, use it in line with Raya Conversations. Use it with the not interested. Use it with the interested. Use it with the buyers. Use it with the sellers. These branded market trends, they are invaluable information. So with the analogy of a dating app, right? You need to bring something to the table. Now, when you're going through all these options, we're looking at all these leads, people, and we're trying to determine if they need our help. But imagine what they're facing. They're facing an industry of agents that don't always have the best reputation, that may not have their best interest in mind. They've probably heard horror stories. They're seeing media, they're seeing data, they're seeing news. They need us, and we know they need us. So how do we differentiate ourselves? And a big way is by not being transactional, not caring if they're right now or in 6 months, because it's predictable income, right? Doing it by being an advisor, and a branded market trend changes your approach because you're not trying to sell them a house. You're educating them about the market they're interested in getting into. And that takes you from, I mean, it's like if you went to a financial planner and all they want to know is which stock do you want to buy. It would be like, I don't know. What do you think I should do? Well, tell them what the climate is. What should they do? Why? And don't be afraid to tell them based on your circumstances, this might not be the right time, but I'm going to keep you in the loop. I'm going to occupy that mind share and get you into my ecosystem. And when the time is right, I'm there.
I'm so glad that you're bringing this up, because I think what a lot of agents are still doing is they're calling and they're saying something like, hey, I'm touching base, checking in, seeing how the search is coming, right? And that burdens the consumer. If you do what Livia just said, that changes the dynamic of the whole phone call. You're not calling to check in anymore. You're calling to say, hey, I've got a market report I wanted to send you. Do you want me to text it or email it? Everything about that conversation feels different. And the next time you call, they're going to answer, right?
And those of you like wondering how Sarah, who's part of Livia's team, is coming up right after
Sarah's
the break
gonna
to
go
show
over
you guys
exactly
step by step how to do this.
Yeah. And the other thing why it's a success for me, when people say they're not interested, that's when we pull this out. So don't be alarmed if people say I'm not interested. I say that everywhere I go, right?
The
Don't
not
bother.
interested, or also the just looking, which we always get.
Right.
Perfect. Here's some data to look at.
Yeah.
They just told you they're
Let
looking.
me
give them
educate
something.
yourself in the market. And I understand you're not interested in doing something right now. I know the market has been crazy in people's minds, a lot of negative data. It's very important that I send you information about the zip code you're looking in so you're educated for when the time is right.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Right.
Love it. That help, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Livia, thank you so much. And she'll be on at the end of the day on the Ask Us Anything. So if you do have questions for her about how she's running her business, her, JD.
She is not here at the Ask Me Anything. She's got to get out. But she will be here over lunch and at the break if you want to chat
Ask
with
her
her
at
some
lunch
more.
then. Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Aaron will be on tonight.
Aaron Drussel, for those of you who do not know, come on up, Aaron. I'd love for you to give a little background. Let me make sure the clicker is working. I'm going to give this to you. You're good to go. There is a pointer if you need it. Give us a little background, what you've been up to and all that, so people kind of have a little idea who you are.
Okay, so my background is I just got out on parole recently, and I'm happy.
This is why I wanted you to get on board.
No, my background, I mean, I've been in real estate for a while now. I ran a real estate team for many years, and then I still run that team. We have a team of 8, but I'm also a broker owner, and I have a brokerage, and my brokerage has about 185 agents in that brokerage. So we're in the Salt Lake City market.
Perfect.
And we've been using Ylopo for a while now, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the different things that we've learned over the years using that system. So.
Awesome.
How about it?
And what is cooler than talking about lead generation? Well, I thought we'd just spend some time talking about a fun trip I went on, because that's what we want to talk about, right? That's why you guys are here. I love the people that have their cameras out to take pictures of my trip. That's great. Last year, I took my family to this really cool resort up in Alaska, and we were able to go fishing. It was this all-inclusive event, and it was really cool, right? I mean, we had my youngest son right there is catching this giant rockfish, which looked like a giant goldfish, and the fisherman said it was about 70 years old was their estimate. The other fish is a ling cod. It looks creepy, and it is creepy, but it tastes really good. But we had this like a fishing event, and that's my message for today. So you guys, thanks for coming out.
He'll be back for more questions about his fishing trip.
Yeah, I'll be talking about stuff later on. Part of the experience on being on these little fishing boats is in the back of the boat, they have these little sonar machines that would look down, and you can see this fish finder, and you can see where it has the little number 1 next to it. That's a school of fish. So as we were out with our boat going around, our guide would stop and say, no, there's a school of fish right there. And what's cool is our fishing line, well, they were color coordinated every 25 feet. So he would say, go down 2 colors. And we'd drop our line down 2 colors, which was 50 feet, and we were right in the middle of where all the fish were. And it felt like this like cheat code of fishing. Because we would look around and there's other people fishing too, but we would go around and all of a sudden he's like, no, stop. There's a school of fish, drop down 3 colors. And we'd like drop it down, and we'd all put our lines down, and we would just start catching tons and tons of fish. And it was amazing. And the thing is, you guys all have a fish finder in your business right now. Your Ylopo system is that system to allow you to see where people are at.
So good.
Now, this is the exciting thing, right? You get this like new Ylopo lead that comes in. Like, what's the feeling that you have when the new lead comes in? It's like this, like, warms your heart, maybe like a tear runs down your cheek. Like, I don't know. You have like different responses, right? But you have like a lead like this one. This one came in last week. It's returning after 224 days. That's kind of cool, right? 224 days. And many of you have been doing this for a little while, have leads like this that start to come back. And the question is, what does that really mean? Like you have this thing and you get this text notification, you get an email. And the question is, what does it mean? Number one, they are rated by now. Is that what it means? Or B, oh no, they're definitely rated by now. Or C, they know they are missing out in life by not working with me and clearly have been dreaming of us working together. And now they've returned. Or D, they just saw a house that they liked. That seemed interesting. Now the hard part is, like we have been, this idea of speed to lead has been overly influenced recently. And what it looks like is, these last couple of years, we have had this like super aggressive mindset, right? This aggressive mindset, and it's been influenced because the last couple of years, 2021, 2020, 2021, it was this speedy market. So fast. Like the Autobahn of real estate. And it felt super fast. And our responses with clients and leads was, listen, you got to do this now. If you don't do it now, whatever. I'm going to find the next person. And we just kind of blew off the future buyers because like if they couldn't play, they couldn't play. And we're just going to work with the now people. But then you enter 2023. It's a little bit different. This is an actual photo from Vegas, from a different direction at my hotel. I'm just but it feels like this, right? It's like a little bit different. We got used to this super speedy process. And sometimes our approach has changed. And so our approach can't smell like commission breath. It can't. And the hard part is you have different people that you're finding further and further upstream that might not be rated by this very second. And if we're treating them all like they need to buy right now, it changes our whole approach. So you start to look at this lead that came in from 224 days ago, they've just been reintroduced. So the question is, how can you connect with that person, but not try to hardcore sell them from day one? It's like this fine balance, right? Like imagine, like last night I was walking through the casino, and I'm married, but if I was single and I see some attractive people, if I was like to get a ring and just go propose to people, I know you guys you probably have a lot of success. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have a lot of success. I'm the only person on the stage with no hair on my head. Like it wouldn't work out well. But the approach that we have to have is very different with these people. So often success comes from being patiently persistent. Now the cool part about the Ylopo system is you have the ability to be engaged continually. Raya can step in to be able to keep things going along. At the same time, you're able to connect with people over a long period of time and being patiently persistent. What happens in this process is, as you start to look at it, the easiest way to think about it is, like imagine a squirrel in a park and a bag of Lay's potato chips, okay? You have these two things combined. And there's some of you I know that are like super finicky about your chips and whatever. We'll have onion baked chips, it's fine. Whatever you want. But you got this bag of chips, right? And you got this squirrel. And you see this like little squirrel off in the distance. But here's the rule of this game. You can't move from the park bench. So how are you going to get that squirrel, and how are you going to be able to get it to come closer to you if you can't go chase it? Like when I was on the boat with the fish, I couldn't jump in the water and swim down 50 feet because the fish are not going to be waiting for me at 50 feet. So the hard part sometimes is how do we close the gap? And sometimes it's all about creating different things that will draw people in. Bring them in. So you've got these people. What's cool about Ylopo is it's people raising their hands at different stages, and now the approach is how do we bring them in? How do we bring them in closer to us? So number one, be compelling. One of the cool things is sometimes when people are searching online, they feel like they can see everything that's on the market. If you talk to buyers and buyers like that, like I don't need you because I can see I've got Zillow, I've got all these different apps. I can see every house. But the reality is, we have the access to past homes and future homes. Every one of you in this room knows about future listings that are coming up. And those are future opportunities that the consumer doesn't know about. So using that, so a lot of our lead conversion comes into when someone reaches out and says, oh, that's cool, you're looking in this town. Hey, have you looked at any of the off-market properties? And people are like, oh, off-market? No, I just looked at all the on-market. Like, oh, those are fine too. I've just found historically that the best deals go really fast. Would you like to see some of the properties that are coming up in the future? And that's compelling, right? Because now I have something that's valuable that they don't have access to. Number 2, leveraging audio and video text. This is a powerful concept. I mean, if you're not using audio text, you're not using video text, we use it all the time. Following up with leads, we try to call them. If they don't respond, send them a quick video text, introducing ourselves to those people. And my goal is to get moved to some sort of quick Zoom call with them if I can schedule that. So instead of like an in-person in the office meeting, because that's usually down the road, I'll just be like, hey, do you have a couple of minutes? We can just jump on this quick Zoom and we can go through some of the different things that you're looking for. And if I can get them on a Zoom meeting, even if they're 9 months out, I got them. Like I've got those people now. I'm just trying to create something that I can bring them in. Now that's a move, right, to get them to a Zoom meeting. But if I can just create, so I'm not a stranger to them, and what I found, if I can create errors in my messaging, it makes me human. So my initial video is, sometimes I intentionally mispronounce stuff.
Like Boyce.
Like Boyce. I might not do the cities as bad, because that's kind of different. Like, I'm an expert in this area. But honestly, it'd be so funny to send that video out and follow up with the text after, like, isn't that awesome how technology does that stuff? Like, so cool. But I put a human element to my text messaging. Barry's been great at that. Like, he talks about that with his little images and stuff. But if you can sometimes misspell or sometimes add things, I'll misspell something intentionally, then follow up afterwards and with the little emojis, my hand on it, like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Who spells that wrong? Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, it's like a person that I can connect with. Speak to the tree, not the forest. So when you're speaking, I always speak individually to people, right? Like you're talking to the person directly, giving space to breathe. I think one of the challenges are sometimes we want the deal to happen so bad that we don't get a response. We think it's like, how dare those people not respond to us? But they're just not ready yet. How many of you on your phones have voicemail messages that you haven't called back yet? Oh, none of you? Oh, that's good. Yeah, right? You're like, I'll get to that, right? I'll get to that later on. But that's like, if you just keep reaching out, the thing to think of is, and I love how Howard earlier today talked about the potential of these different people, right? We talk about them as leads, but then we talk about the potential of this consumer. But the thing to keep in mind is, if that consumer is searching on a website and they're looking for houses, the likelihood is that they don't have an agent who has funneled them to a site yet, which most likely means they probably don't have an agent in their immediate circle of trust. So within their family, within their core group of friends, there probably isn't an agent. So if you get that person, that person is the gateway to all of those relationships. Like if you can step into that space, all of a sudden you can own all of those relationships. And the cool part is, like whether you're a team leader, if you're a solo agent, like this is a cool tool you can leverage for all of that. And you've got to remember, it's all about the long game. And it's all about creating a remarkable experience. And by remarkable, we talk a lot about how people are going to vet you, and people are going to look at you, and they're going to look at you online. They're looking at your reviews. They're going to see what you're all about. And when we're talking to our leads and prospects from day one, we tell them our goal and our purpose is to make sure you're so outrageously happy with the help that we provide that you're glad to introduce us to other people. And one of the ways that you can help us with that is telling your journey online about your experience with us to help to captivate that. Lastly, I tried to find a picture of Howard fishing. Closest thing I could come up with. So the cool part of the tech stack, I'm going to tell a quick story. I was referred to go to in our marketplace, average price point is about $500,000. I was referred to go to meet with a person selling their home. It was a $3.8 million home. So significantly higher than our average price point. I went and met with this seller and showed them some of the technology, right? It was not nearly as good as the presentations yesterday. If I was up against Kat, like, I would just, if I walked in there and they're like, hey, you're competing with Kat, like, well, thanks for having me come out, everybody. Thanks. It's nice to know you guys. I'd probably see like the autographed 8x10 glossy that Kat would have on their counter that she had signed to them, and like, that's great. That's good. No, but the scenario was that the seller said, hey, you are competing with 2 other agents. And that's fine. Like, how hard can that be? That's a normal situation, right? So I asked the seller, who are the other 2 agents I'm competing with? And the seller said, one's my mom, and the other's my sister. I was like, oh, your stepmom? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, the lady that gave birth to you, mom? He's like, that's the one. I'm like, oh, great. Well, that's not going to be awkward. But the thing is, when I showed the technology pieces, and I showed what I used the term, I just said, you know, the key with today's marketplace is being able to leverage data and having access to creepy Big Brother data. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we have access to creepy Big Brother data. And does your mom have that? He's like, no. Well, that's how we leverage our ability to market and get in front of people. And we leverage data. And we have access to tons of different data. And one of my strengths is being able to utilize systems and processes to be able to highlight your home, leveraging technology and data. And what that did is it gave me this arrow in my quiver that could put me up against anybody. And so even though it was his mom, even though it was his sister, I said, and at the end I said, listen, this is the deal. I mean, we got to make sure that you're not like going to be like banished from the family, because you have to have Thanksgiving with her. So let's just work out a referral fee. Like, I'm happy to talk to your mom. I'll work out the referral fee. Like, I'll negotiate that with her directly, and she'll feel happy because she got something out of it. And then you'll feel better because we can actually sell your house. And you have the tech stack behind it. Oh, is your mom good at technology? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we have a lot of cool technology stuff that we can leverage. The last story, one more example, is the fishing thing that I showed you at the very beginning. The reason we went on that trip is because I had a listing appointment with a seller who owned that lodge. And when we were competing with other agents, we talked about technology. I talked about the tech stack that we have. And he talked about this cool lodge that he had. And I said, this is the deal. If we sell your house, I will trade my commissions for you to pay for my whole family to go to this lodge. Myself, my wife, my 4 kids, and we'll throw my parents in there too. And he's like, it was an expensive house. And he's like, all right, deal. If you sell my house, done deal. So that trip that we went on last year was a result of using the technology to win that listing appointment and end up selling that house. So
Amazing.
Some cool stuff with that.
I love it.
Guys,
Also, Aaron will be back on the panel this afternoon for more questions, things like that. I'm going to steal this.
yeah, and you know, Gabe and I, we're really big on, in our industry, the guru culture is so pervasive, and you only hear from like certain big shots, and we're really trying to democratize all the talent that the Ylopo community affords it. Have these sessions not been amazing? Like, let's give them all a round of applause. Woo!